That stuff just knocked out over here. It's a crazy time. All right. Congrats, Braves fans. I'll get to you in a moment. That was, as you know, that's what we call in the gambling world a rocking chair game. And there's nothing better when something serious is on the line than to have a rocking chair moment, because most of the time, as you guys well know, as sports fans, doesn't play out that way, does it? Instead, your last nerve is frayed. You're on edge the whole time. This one, I want to say after the Soler home run was over, oddly enough, you got a guy dealing, and that home run, Tom, whoo, that is bat speed for days. It's so fun to watch a guy swing a bat that fast.
I feel like that was a tribute to Albert Pujols against Brad Lidge.
Yeah, the oh my God
2005 NLCS, I believe that was
one of the great moments as the camera pans over and you realize in super slow motion the oh my God. That was what's his face, the cheater.
Yeah, I think that was the NLCS. Man, the Houston Astros in the National League, heady times.
Okay, so we begin with that. I here's the deal. Listen, Tom and I, neither one of us Braves fans. I was pulling for the Braves to win this series. Certainly, I was pulling for them to win the series against the Dodgers as well. Can't deal with the Dodgers, so this worked out well. And I am happy for an awful lot of people today. You know, I was telling my brother who lives up in New Hampshire, if you're of a certain age, certainly you grew up, and if you didn't have a team, that's correct, Noel Dad, that Soler home run landed in Sheboygan. I always like to use Sheboygan, as he knows. But when you grow up in a city that doesn't have a team, and we both grew up in a city that didn't have a team, although you were born in New York and you're Queens kid, right? So, or Brooklyn kid.
Yeah.
So obviously the Mets, it stands to reason with your family. For me, I became a Pirates fan because as an 8-year-old kid, they win the World Series and I was a Willie Stargell nut, and then they train in Bradenton and I got a chance to see him. Had we grown up at a time where the Rays existed, we probably would be Rays fans, as we are with the other teams in the city.
100%.
Yeah. So by not having a reason to root for a certain team because we didn't have one, you had to latch on to either family ties, perhaps where you were born, whatever it might be. But everybody else I know either became a Braves fan, a Mets fan, or a Cubs fan. Of course, that's WGN, WOR, and TBS. And so that's just why that was. And you meet countless number of people. In my lifetime as a sports fan, how many times you've been sitting at it in a strange city at a bar, either for a flight or you just got done going to a game in a place on the road, and you strike up a conversation. And invariably, it's that somebody is a fan of one of those three teams. And instantly it's because they grew up at a time where maybe they didn't have a team, but they could see those teams every night of the week. And that's the way it is for me with Braves fans. I've got so many friends that are just die hard because that's what they grew up watching. And for them, the ones that have been loyal, the ones that have watched that team forever and cared about that team, even when they weren't good, I'm happy for them. Just as I am with any true fan of any team that has success. If you're a true fan and you're not a bandwagoner, good on you. Good for you. And we know a lot of guys that really love the Braves.
Oh, we do. We know a lot of guys and gals in this town that, even people I grew up with. The Braves were big in Tampa for me growing up because of TBS. The Superstation didn't go away until, I don't know, it was late in high school. But we also have, unfortunately, some breaking news.
Yeah, Chubba Purdy is off to the transfer portal. That's, I guess, not altogether surprising, Tom. Listen. I wish him well. Hopefully it works out for him. It's not good news for Florida State. It's also not necessarily devastating news for Florida State.
Chubba, Purdy.
Yeah, he's off to the portal. You basically recruited over him with AJ Duffy, and I think that you're probably also, I don't know this for sure, going to be looking for another quarterback, perhaps in the transfer portal, Tom, ironically. This offseason. I think you want to create as much competition at that position as possible. It's not to say that Jordan Travis can't win out in those situations. I would create as much competition as possible. I've been saying this all along. They're not good at the position. It's the most important position on the field, and they don't have a reliable answer with versatility at the position. So I would do whatever I could to increase competition there. By the way, that's not the only place, of course, we know. They're going to have to create that competition at a lot of places on this football team. And when you're in a season like we're in right now, where it is a rebuild and you're looking for the bright spots and those that are going to be part of future success, you really owe it to yourself to be, as best you can, as objective and assess these position groups as honestly as possible. And that includes making hard decisions. That includes, confronting kind of a stark reality in some cases and saying, look, we got to get to a place where our floor is raised considerably. And does Chubba Purdy, do you think long-term, from what we've seen in his time here, look like the answer at quarterback to you? Because the answer for me is no. Now, I wish him well. I have nothing against him. I just don't think he's the answer for Florida State long-term. Hopefully A.J. Duffy is. Hopefully he immediately becomes the heir apparent, and maybe only he has to sit. Maybe he doesn't sit at all, but maybe he sits a year, and then he's the guy. I'm fine with that, but I'm bringing in guys and letting them go to war. And so, if you're on the depth chart here, if you're one of those guys that's not getting a lot of time, and you start to see the writing on the wall that they're bringing in guys that they're recruiting over you, you could see why he would say, all right. And then really, in all honesty, let's admit it, the way things have gone for him here, it's just been sort of a convoluted mess. It's not Florida State's fault per se, but when you have an injury like he had, and then it's fits and stops and starts and all of that like he had, because then there's a setback, and then he spends time away from the team. Frankly, it was stunning that he came back with as good an attitude as he did. I give him credit for that. And I was shocked that he came back, to be honest with you. Once you go home and you leave the program, because you have to get quote unquote mentally redirected and right. I don't know, man. The writing's kind of on the wall there. So I was stunned when he came back, and we talked to him as camp started, and he was in a good place mentally, and he did seem to be happy to be here. He was a good soldier about it.
Yeah, he was willing to discuss it.
Yeah.
He was willing to openly discuss the dark places that his mind went as he was rehabbing, figuring out whether or not this is going to be something he wants to do continuing forward. And I think he was talking about football in general. I don't even know if it was playing quarterback at Florida State University. It seemed like that rehab really hit him in a dark place. And, I don't know if it's that he asked and maybe he got an answer he didn't want to hear about where is Jordan Travis' place on the heels of the Clemson game. Was that the final straw? But as our Warchant Live viewers can see, but for our radio listeners who cannot, Irish Raffel posted on the warchant.com tribal council that it appears he's in the portal. Chubba has not been at practice this week. So you have evidence that supported that theory. I guess the antennas were up amongst the beat, given that Chubba was not at practice. That seemed out of place. And so therefore everybody is running it down specifically and I'm sure we'll get a statement at some point. That's how these things work. If it's not on Twitter already with a please respect my decision note that's screenshot from your iPhone, I don't know. Then I don't know what the social media generation is. So I would expect that any moment now if it hasn't happened.
Yeah, we live in a different world where transfer portal issues are a thing for every team. It's always somewhat surprising. I shouldn't say it's always. Sometimes it's very obvious it's going to happen. Other times it's like, whoa, wow, I didn't see that coming. And it could be for myriad reasons. We don't know. Who knows what he was told? You brought up the idea that somebody might have given an answer he didn't want to hear. Well, look, man, I sure hope that answer is that somebody of real talent and experience has let it be known that they would like to head to Tallahassee, as perhaps I've been suggesting for some time. Listen,
I was openly speculating on what could have been the final straw. Now, if you want to take that as fuel in order to, get your car from 6 miles a gallon to 37 miles a gallon on the Max Johnson train, then so be it.
I listen, this has been a tongue-in-cheek sort of deal, and I've started this.
You're trying to speak it into being.
Oh, I am. Yes. Max Johnson would be ideal. Yes, I'd like to see him in Tallahassee for all the right reasons.
It's tongue-in-cheek viewers, literalists out there.
I'd love to see it.
Just know.
There is no buzz whatsoever suggesting that Max Johnson wants to leave LSU and come to Florida State. None. I want to make that abundantly clear. There is none.
Well, literalists still won't understand that, but yeah, that's fine. We're having fun with it.
But come on, Max. Let's go, baby. The time is right. Leave that sinking ship. Find yourself a program on the climb where you can become a hero and an instant starter in my.
Where is Kenny Bamboo Dillingham? Hashtag Max to tally.
I would love it. I would love it. Who knows? Listen, it's not. I want to tell you about a conversation I had with somebody in the know who's got connections in the coaching world, Tom. And I had this conversation weeks ago, and we were sitting there over a cold, frosty beverage. And I said to him, the quarterback room is not where I'd like it to be. I really hope in time that we're able to create the level of competition necessary to elevate the floor to a place where your options are better than what we have. And it was just sort of a pipe dream, sort of just throw it out there. And he said, well, it's a crazy time, and coaches have to understand this and do understand that we live in a world where opportunity presents itself around every turn the second a program is not having the kind of season they were hoping to have. The second Florida flies off the rails, the second LSU flies off the rails, the second Miami is in a disappointing campaign, although that's turning around for them right now. Any program in the country that did not meet expectations or whose players feel frustrated by the lack of success, coaches, their antennas are up. They know they can lose people. Kids throw their name in the portal with the quickness and with ease these days. So if you find yourself in an untenable position or a frustrating place at any segment group for that matter, we happen to be talking about quarterback, man, your solution may be right around the corner. It could be a loss this Saturday by so-and-so. And people mining behind the scenes, you've got to have people doing whatever they can to find out who might be disgruntled, who might be interested in opportunities elsewhere.
In this era of free transfer, right, without eligibility concerns and having to sit out a season, now that you get one free pass, you thought it ended on junior days when kids come to campuses,
right.
Or on official visits when a kid shows up late November, early December before the early signing period. You thought it was over then for the handlers?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Their shelf life just got a lot longer.
It's incredibly frustrating on one side of the aisle. On the other side, it's incredibly encouraging because you don't have to be stuck for too long.
Right.
You could say, well, this isn't working out as we had hoped. And the next thing you know, hey, I heard so-and-so from Texas. I heard so-and-so from Michigan State. I heard so-and-so. I mean, look, for that matter, you look around at some of the teams that have had success doing exactly that at other positions. You're seeing it all over the country where guys stepped in and became, bona fide superstars. What's his name? Walker III, the stud running back at Michigan State, is a transfer from Wake Forest.
Yeah. I just find this really interesting because, if you're going to do all the work to come back, and then you do get some run in the UMass game a couple of weeks ago, I guess whatever has happened since he got those drives and the 2 touchdown passes against UMass, and thank you to Chubba Purdy for throwing a touchdown to Jordan Young. I'll always appreciate you for helping out my guy, Jordan Young, who dismissed his defender throwing him to the end zone.
Yeah.
But good job out of you. You come back, you do all that work. I don't know. Is Jordan
putting it on tape for somebody else, baby?
I guess, but what is he thinking that Jordan is going to be the incumbent?
Yeah, well, I don't.
And then it's Duffy behind him.
Yeah, that'd be my guess.
Well, but that is
have some faith in yourself, right?
That's what I'm saying. You're looking in the mirror. You're like, I'm not good enough.
I hate to be the old man, get off my lawn. Does any kid today have the kind of stick-to-itiveness that it takes to sit on the bench for a couple of years? On the one hand, I do not begrudge a kid for wanting to leave. Coaches have been doing it for years, so I'm not going to be a hypocrite. If a coach just decides he wants another job, he takes it and leaves everybody in the lurch. I get it. But on the other hand, man, you see kids all the time. Things don't go their way. Screw it, I'm in the portal. And, look,
what's interesting to me,
you know my opinion of that, but hey.
Is if Jordan came up lame on a tackle this weekend, I'd rather have Chubba in there.
Of course you would. That's the only
you're one play away. Stick it out for another month.
You're one play away from a guy who gets hurt on the regular.
Right.
I agree.
You're 1 month away.
You and I agree. But kids don't see it that way. And look, he may be looking at it. Who knows? We're speculating, obviously. But say my man realizes I'm not beating Jordan Travis out. Jordan is going, so long as he's healthy, I'm not beating him out. And they just brought in A.J. Duffy. And then maybe he asks some questions. I don't know this, but so say he starts to ask questions about Florida State's intention or whether or not they would be interested in bringing anybody else in to compete for the job. And he finds out that they're maybe interested in that. Well, at that point, he's probably like, look, man, I'm never going to play here. right or wrong, that's his mindset. Plus, he's been frustrated, right? So then all of a sudden he says, screw it. Also, who knows, through various means, who's reached out to him about potentially having an opportunity to play somewhere else.
Yeah, that's the thing, too, is I could see where the early signing period muddies how you would make this decision. Like, if I'm going to argue on behalf of Chubba's best interests here and try to play defense attorney, what I'd say is, yeah, you have another month of opportunities, but you've got another school that's calling on you, perhaps through back channels, and saying, look, are we taking an extra quarterback in the signing class or not? Because we've got a spot for you. Are we going to take one? Now, the odd thing this year is a transfer wouldn't count against your 25. That we know that rule is in place, but you have to enter your name in the transfer portal in December. So there's just all kinds of stuff here where I'm going cross-eyed on the math of making this decision.
Correct.
In the end, I think, God, man, even if you know in your heart that you're going to transfer in a month, give yourself the opportunity that maybe you get an opportunity against Miami a week from now. Jordan Travis is hurt. What happens? Let's say you go 6 of 8 for 87 yards and a touchdown. Well, you just really impressed the coaches and the fan base. Tallahassee might yet be your home.
His brother, Brock Purdy, is a senior at Iowa State. Do you think that folks at Iowa State are like, hey, let's get his brother?
I don't know that they'd be racing, to go get the brother of Purdy. It's not like it's been a windfall for them. There's been a lot of promise at that university, but, Brock didn't take him.
I'm just saying, who knows? Maybe they're like, oh, we really like Brock. Let's get Chubba. Family connections. Who knows?
It's kind of like kickers.
If you want to whistle or talk hockey, here's your chance. I got a cough.
All right. Well, the good news is the Tampa Bay Lightning have really bounced back, buddy. I don't know if you noticed this, but they beat the Capitals the other night 3-2.
I did notice that.
First regulation loss for the Capitals this season.
Yeah, I did notice that. There you go.
Well, I was ready. I was ready.
Yeah. I'm turning red. I was trying to fight back that cough for a good 10 minutes. And then finally it was like, I will not be suppressed any longer.
You're like, okay, so of course there's breaking news when I need to cough. That's wonderful. We couldn't just have a nice open about the NC State game. We had to have breaking news.
Well, the breaking news is, for those just joining us, that Brock Purdy is apparently, or I said Brock, yes, his brother is Brock. Chubba Purdy is apparently taking it on down the road. He appears to be in the portal. He's not been to practice this week. We can definitely confirm that. And so that's that. We hardly knew you. Nothing. I'm not being, dismissive, but I'm also not worried about it. I don't feel like that guy was the future that you just lost. So move on. Maybe free things up. Maybe if you weren't thinking about bringing somebody in, now you can, besides AJ Duffy.
Yeah.
Maybe now you can.
What it does is it hurts us for the 25 plus 7. I think the way the rule kicks in is if he had waited till December, then we would get an extra spot next year. So thanks for nothing, pal.
I really hope, obviously, that nothing happens to Jordan Travis. And I would have hoped that anyhow. But if it does, you're not winning another game. McKenzie can't play, and we know what Tate is.
Oh, he's about to have the Joe Flacco postseason run of the ages. You wait and see.
Oh, buddy, wouldn't that be something? It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
If you know me, you know how I feel about supporting local. You also know that I love dad jokes. So it really bugs me when somebody I know calls anyone other than Paul's Termite and Pest Control. This year marks 50 years that Paul's has been servicing our community as a family-owned business. That really means something. All treatment decisions are made right here, not some corporate headquarters 100 miles away, but right here. Local knowledge means they know exactly when and how to beat certain issues that are unique to our region. All decisions about North Florida made by North Floridians, and being local doesn't always mean small. Paul's is the largest locally owned termite, pest, and lawn company in the region, but you'll always get the small town treatment and quick service also. Paul's offers a same-day treatment guarantee if you call by noon. If you see something in the morning that's not supposed to be in your house, call Paul's and they'll get them all that same afternoon. It's that easy. For the elimination of termites or any other pest, and for a greener lawn too, visit callpauls.com. Hey guys, it's Greg Tish here. If you know me, you know how much I love to grill, smoke, and cook outside. With the holidays just right around the corner and the cooler weather, there's nothing better than a backyard fire pit or a custom outdoor kitchen. But where do you start? Well, you start at Hearth and Patio of Tallahassee. They have everything for gas grilling, charcoal, standalone grills, built-ins, custom kitchens, unique high-end fire pits, and you can even build your own pizza oven. And don't forget about maintaining your indoor fireplace. If it hasn't been used in a while, it's a good idea to have Hearth and Patio come take a look at it to make sure it's safe to use. Or you can replace the whole thing and transform the look and style of your room. If it has anything to do with fire, you need to call Hearth and Patio. Write this number down. It's 727-4282. That's 727-4282. Or you can always check out their website to view all their products and services at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
Our partners at ISF know you want to do amazing things. You have big ideas and goals for the future. For over 40 years, ISF has focused on solving the future for state government through strategy, process, and technology. As a national management and IT consulting firm, ISF has the expertise to transform strategies, refine processes, and implement solutions to lead you in today's changing environment. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Your body is a masterpiece designed to heal itself from within. Learn how to maximize your health by tuning in to Phenomenal Health with me, Dr. Ryan Finn. Saturdays at 2:30. Experience true health today and call Finn Chiropractic at 386-7700.
Siri, tell me a joke. The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
And then kind of caught off guard by the news right as we came on the air that Chubba Purdy's name is in the portal. It's interesting to see the reactions because you'd have thought this guy started a bunch of games and amassed numbers and garnered wins. To hear the ringing of the hands or to see the ringing of the hands like we have online.
That's what I was going to say. Is it really interesting to see the reaction?
Well, I laugh at it. I mean, everything's an overreaction in the world of the interwebs, but I'm not trying to be condescending either. I mean, it is news. It is newsworthy. So everybody can certainly have an opinion about that. I don't know that it's hugely notable other than to say that Florida State is basically down to 3 scholarship quarterbacks, one of whom has obviously taken the bulk of the snaps, and it gives you the best chance to win. Another who, it's been a tough, rocky road since his arrival. And you're in the midst of a stretch of games that are, I think, important for the psyche of some of the kids on this team, the fan base, and perhaps those recruits. Most importantly, those recruits. So how you play in those games. Notice I said how you play in those games. Did not say whether you win or lose, just how you play in those games. It's going to be vitally important.
I would think, just for immediate impact analysis, this would fortify AJ Duffy's commitment to Florida State. He's like, oh, well, the path just got clear. Now, if you're a person who believes in yourself, you're going to say it doesn't matter who's on the 2 deep. I'm going to beat them out because I'm the best prospect. But I'm sure it would enter your mind that, all right, Well, this guy who has all that eligibility, just one fewer year than I do, he's out of the way. But I think the second part, the impact would be now this really does open the door for Florida State to bring in a second quarterback this class as a need and or a transfer at the position again. Somebody to hold it down.
That's the first thing I brought up was, okay, you're bringing in A.J. Duffy, and now do you have somebody that you'd like to bring in to compete? And typically a person that has some starting experience certainly is not coming in to compete. They're coming in to play football. They're coming in to play right now. Mackenzie Milton, had he been able to get his body to operate something close to what it was doing prior to his injury, would have started for Florida State this year. That was their intent. There's no doubt.
Yeah, you don't bring him in otherwise.
No. So, they did that. They felt the need to do that. And it was a smart, calculated risk to do that, because if he was close to what he was at UCF, you would have yourself a quarterback that is in every way better than Jordan Travis. But he couldn't. And at that point, he was damaged goods. It's unfortunate. And I commend him for his efforts. And apparently what he's done in that quarterback room is worthy of our appreciation as well. But didn't work out. Jordan gives you the best chance to win. You got to keep playing him for all of his faults. He does give you the best chance. But my overriding point has been that room has got to be so much better. Just the room. It's just not a good room. And unfortunately, when you're in the midst of a major rebuild, you can say that about a lot of rooms. The linebacking core is ass. I mean, it's just terrible. Terrible.
Just a couple of cheeks.
It's just hard to watch, man. So you can say it about that group. You can talk about the lack of depth on the offensive line. You can talk about you can talk about a lot of things. The receivers have been really poor. Not real good. Not an elite level group over there at wide receiver. Yeah. So
it's Jerry Seinfeld and the nudist on the subway. We got to be able to hit. We don't play any defense. We don't play defense. We don't pitch. Oh, well, I guess we got to get better at everything. Yeah. That's where we are right now. But we're improved as a program. We feel like we've hit the bottom and we're starting on the way back up. Looks like there's some buy-in. If you don't buy in and get the hell out of here, that's what this message is. I just wonder, and typically these things leak out weeks and months later. What was the story here? Was it that the coaches approached him and said, hey, man, here's the deal. You can do it. You could climb this depth chart, but it's going to take a lot of work. And there might be another person that's coming into these hallways that is going to be in your way. Or is it that he approached the coaches and said, Jordan didn't look great this weekend. Can I have a crack at it? No. Okay, goodbye.
Well, maybe. I mean, you don't know what kids and the whims, the kids, who knows what set him off. And set him off that's a volatile type of way of describing it. Who knows? He may have very calmly said, I don't think it's going to work out for me. So I put this up here because Richie posts that he thinks, and I'm going to read this and respond to it because it's worth vetting. I don't think we really understand how big of a deal this is. In my opinion, as long as Jordan Travis is the quarterback, we will not win more than 8 games unless he has some Lamar Jackson hidden in him somewhere. In my opinion, Chubba beating out Jordan Travis was our best shot to be in a 9+ win team next year. Okay, so I'm going to go backwards. They don't have it. It is highly unlikely, barring massive hits, plural, in the transfer portal, that this team was going to come anywhere near winning 9+ games next year. Very unlikely. Because of what you're losing on that defensive line in all likelihood and how far away you are at a lot of positions. So, no, I don't think they're going to do that anyhow. I agree with the initial statement here, Richie, that the ceiling is limited with Jordan at quarterback because of his one-dimensional play. I think that is an accurate assessment. I don't think Chubba Purdy was going to be the answer to our problems at the position. I think we're talking about probably A.J. Duffy and or a transfer, and Florida State's 9+ win season that you're desperately searching for does not have a chance to happen next year. Wouldn't have anyhow. It was more likely the year after if things were right and you built quality depth and you brought in some guys that could come in and play for you in the transfer portal, like they did with Jermaine Johnson, like they did. Obviously, they hit on a few guys, but they whiffed on some too. That's the nature of the transfer portal.
Wouldn't you say that it might be fair to posit that if Chubba was going to be good enough to pass Jordan Travis, he would have come close by now, like really close, if not already done it?
Yeah. Well,
it's not like it's an insurmountable lead by a Heisman candidate. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like, if you're halfway decent at throwing the football down the field and you've got the wheels that Chubba Purdy does, one would think that you would make it a very tight race sooner than later. And it hasn't been. So what does that tell you?
No, I didn't. He never impressed me in camp, but, some guys are gamers. I don't know. I was never overly impressed in general. So I worry more about other position groups in the sense that we have got, that game that we just lost to Clemson really had more to do with the crux of what has to be better and deeper at Florida State, and that's the trenches. And everything starts there. And it really starts with this offensive line got dominated by a group of really elite-level players up front for Clemson. And then if you mix in the fact that you have a quarterback that's not terribly accurate and receivers that can't get open, it's going to be a long day at the office. But if you can fortify that group up front, whomever's playing quarterback is going to look better, and you give yourself a chance to build to that place where we're talking about 9 and 10 win expectations. But next year was not a 9 and 10 win expectation. And people don't want to wait. Nobody does, whether it's a kid on a team who doesn't want to wait to start and or fans who want to see a team win 9, 10 games. Nobody's in the mood to hear that, that ain't happening anytime soon. They're not going to go, this team, from 4 wins maybe this year at 5 at best to 9, 10 wins next year. It ain't happening. So, can they get to 7, 8? Yeah, they could. But you remember, we'll see what's going to happen at LSU, but that's on the schedule next year too. So,
hopefully they bring Cam Cameron back or something ridiculous like that. Otherwise, it's going to be a tall task.
Yeah. My thought is, though, it could be interesting to take a look at the options of a quarterback transfer portal entry. Be interested to see who's out there.
Yeah, well, there's one name that's already on the comments section, and it's Spencer Rattler. That's going to be everybody's darling. Spencer Rattler, by the way, he loves him some Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, I don't want Spencer Rattler.
And he's interested in anything.
Well,
anything that's not Oklahoma at this point.
Well, yeah, because he's never going to get that job back. But if you do the background and if you don't, culture-wise, I would worry about
might
that.
bring some clutter. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't. And listen, Oklahoma's my second team because of family. I've not been impressed. It was obviously he lost his damn job to a freshman. So
he's completing 70% of his passes, sir.
Well, thanks for the check down. But I'm just, listen, I'm not, that's not who I want. And I would not disrupt the apple cart for him. I know we've got some good things going on.
There might be some players that you would say, all right, let's risk it. Let's risk it here because he can elevate our program.
There
to
are
a place,
players who are straight up, not great individuals who are all about themselves, and yet their play is so extraordinary that you'll withstand their presence in the locker room and deal with their personality, problems and all that stuff because they can flat out play.
Jalen Ramsey.
There it is. There it is in a nutshell, right? There it is in a nutshell. And then there are guys that you're like, you don't bring enough to the table for me to put up with this. You're just not good enough. I don't have to listen to this, and nor do I want to subject these kids to your personality because you're not going to do enough to elevate us to justify it. So he'd fall in that category for me. I'd be looking elsewhere. You don't want that guy. So look around. Hey, this is a fun game to play because now you get to do the thing you did when you were a kid or when we were all starting to play NCAA football. Like, I want that guy and that guy and that guy. I'm going to recruit this guy. I'm going to bring this guy in. Remember when you were trying to win the recruiting battles in NCAA football?
Oh, yeah.
And you could push the envelope as to what you offered?
Absolutely.
And you could get on probation and all that.
And it's the faces of the football.
Yeah.
Like the football would go,
he's interested.
And then you keep pushing early playing time, and the football is like really happy. It's like, hey, man, don't do that. And then it gets angry. It's like, screw you.
Yeah. I'm
not visiting.
If you were overbearing. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
You're on national TV. Everybody is.
Yeah. Play that game now for every kid that did not get either didn't have the season they wanted to have as a starter this year at their respective college, or thought they were going to be a starter but remain a backup and disgruntled. Go find every one of those kids and then project away as to whether or not they could make their way to Tallahassee, because that's what every fan's going to do right here, right now. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Leon County jury has reached a verdict in the case of a protester accused of assaulting an officer during a protest last summer. Jurors found Ben Grant not guilty of a felony battery of a law enforcement officer charge and guilty of a misdemeanor resisting arrest without violence charge. Grant was one of 19 protesters arrested during a march downtown in September of 2020. The confrontation happened when officers attempted to arrest one protester. Grant will have to serve 11 months of probation, 100 community service hours, and take an anger management course. Leon County is making it easier for children to connect with their incarcerated parents. On Tuesday, they launched their Family Time and Tales program in connection with the Leroy Collins Leon County Main Library. A supervising parent can bring their child to this designated space at the library. The child then picks an age-appropriate book and reads it with the incarcerated parent on a video call. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update. Brought to you by McEnmore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McEnmoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. High of 75 this afternoon under mainly clear skies, northeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows around 56 tonight, mainly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, highs level off around 71. Turning cooler Friday and Saturday with highs from the upper 50s to the low 60s. Scattered showers both days. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 72.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license, CAC 1816-186.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be. A boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Charlie Crist, he's running for governor. To mention the governor, I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. And we see it in presidential. We see it all the time. It's the new norm. We even saw it in local that it should be. It's like, hey, I'm running for this local seat.
Do you understand? I heard a statistic that like half of our population reads at like an 8th grade level.
And what is the other 2/3 rate?
That means almost half does not. You're right.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
The transfer portal, that is news, and we've spent the first 40 minutes or so of the show talking about that news as it is breaking, and it does warrant attention, and we can speculate and talk about what that is.
We'll post Chubba's statement before the top of the hour. We don't have to do that necessarily right now, but
you want to read it?
He has released a statement. I'll have Matthew wipe it up on the screen.
Yeah, I'll read it. Here you go. I want to thank the Seminole fans and Florida State's community for all their support during my time at Florida State. After careful consideration and a discussion with my family, I will be moving on towards new beginnings. With that said, I will be entering the transfer portal. Thank you and God bless. All right, that's just as straightforward as it gets. He thanks Florida State, thanks the fans, and that's that.
Easy enough. No graphics. A lot of guys have this stuff with graphics, and you know, it shows that they've been considering these moves for a long, long time. Decommitments or transfer announcements, grad transfers. Certainly, you know, that's when they do the whole. It's almost like they take out a full page ad in the newspaper.
Yes, yeah.
This looks like Microsoft Word.
Hey, can you post that again, really quick? Pull that up again one more time. I just want to see something, just rather briefly at the top here, because I'm wanting to see that initial sentence again.
Uh-oh. Are we going to go English teacher on Chubba Purdy?
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to get
like if you started that, like every kid in this world at this point.
I wanted to, you can leave it right there. That's fine. I want to thank the Seminole fans and Florida State community. Yeah, no, I'm not good. I see why you asked me that. Community for all their support during my time at Florida State. Careful consideration, discussion with my family. That's all I wanted to see. Okay, that's it. All right. Well, obviously talked it over with his parents and came to a conclusion that it was time to ride.
Also, Proverbs. He cited Proverbs on the way out as well. So just in case you wanted a verse.
Seems applicable here, right, Tom? I mean,
Seminoles 4-8.
Oh my goodness gracious! I don't know. Come on, Jordan, don't get hurt. I may be critical.
I got something for you. Don't turn around lest you be turned into a pillar of salt. Get out of here.
I'll say this. Obviously, if Jordan were to go down for any length of time now, you got some real issues. It's again, my criticisms of him aside, he is our best option. And there is no doubt about that. Yeah. So I made that abundantly clear as well. And this is a huge game. It really is a huge game. Listen, if you want to put it this way, nothing is effed here. If you win on Saturday at home against NC State and pull the upset, and it will be an upset if you win this game. If you pull the upset, you're right back on track to everybody feeling really damn good. Going up there and losing a competitive game against Clemson as a 10-point underdog is not the end of the world, especially because maybe against all odds to some degree, you were in it you had a chance to win it with 5 minutes to play, under 5 minutes to play. If you turn right around after that loss, which had to be a punch in the gut, and show some emotional maturity and real what for, as I like to say, a whole bunch of get you some on Saturday and you beat NC State, you're right back to feeling really good about the direction of the program, the fight in these kids, what you can talk to the recruits about, where we're at. All that stuff is back on the table. Now, you go out on Saturday and Clemson beats you twice because you can't get back up for this game, and NC State does what they want to do. You got coaches who are in trouble on the defensive side of the ball at that point, and you have pretty much shown that this is, this is a longer road to hoe.
There's a couple of mitigating factors here that are unfortunate, none of which are Chubba Purdy, by the way. But apparently, and the cover they were using for Chubba Purdy for the moment until this announcement made its way and the leak made its way, and that official statement from Chubba. There's a bug going around the team. I don't think it's COVID, but I think it might be a sickness.
Just a flu?
So, well, if that's the case, if it's a bad cold or a flu or whatever it is, that could hurt your chances because we're very thin compared to NC State, and that would mitigate what you see on the weekend. The second thing is, man, that matchup is a toughie.
It's not a good matchup.
NC State goes on the road. You look at any number, advanced metric or simple.
Not a good matchup.
They're a different team on the road. They're much worse on the road. But you have to earn it away from NC State. They'll call 8 straight runs. They don't care. They'll call 8 straight runs. In the Clemson win, watch that last night into this morning.
Mm-hmm.
They had the ball for 30-plus minutes in the first 3 quarters. That's why Clemson's offense actually came out firing against NC State. They never had the ball. It was 30-15 after 3 quarters time of possession. So you've got to earn it to get off the field against this bunch. They're hardly ever going to turn it over. So that's one thing on defense that I'm looking for is, okay, it's 3rd and 4. Can you get off the field? I don't know. We'll see. You got to have full health to be able to do that.
Well, that is a more devastating turn of events than hearing Chubba Purdy is putting his name in the transfer portal. If you're telling me this team is rot with a fever, we got a problem, man. This is not good. You can't be out here flu-ridden when you're playing a physical team, physical team like NC State, a veteran club like NC State, a really good quarterback.
Mezzie's been there since 2017. Legit.
This is not a good situation, man. I am not pleased to hear this. Let's get it together. You got to find a way, boys. Got to rise up. I don't question whether the fight will be there up here. I do think they're capable of pulling themselves back up mentally and getting ready to go. But if you're physically which you're already at a disadvantage. You're going to have to overcome some deficiencies to begin with. But if you're now physically at a disadvantage above and beyond your segment groups that aren't good, now you're dealing with a cold going through the team or a flu going to the team. Oh,
well,
man.
if I don't know what day special teams day is. Maybe it's tomorrow.
It doesn't matter. We suck at it.
That's what I'm saying. You turn it into IV day. Yeah, it's IV Pedialyte day. We don't need to worry about special teams. We're going to lose on special teams.
Steroids, anything else you need.
That's correct.
Let's go.
Everything.
All
of it.
Oh, bring me everyone.
Bring me the pharmacy.
Yes. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Choose Hearth and Patio for custom fireplaces, maintenance, outdoor grills, kitchens, fire pits, lighting, and so much more. Check out all of Hearth and Patio's options online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio, they keep the home fires burning.
It all started with a simple family dream, some hard work, and the foundation of honest, loyal, and fair customer service. Now, Spartan Stoneworks is Tallahassee's premier granite, marble, and quartz specialist. Your kitchen is your family's gathering place, so let a company with strong family values bring your kitchen back to life. Stop wishing for your new kitchen and call Spartan Stoneworks today at 510-4249. That's 510-4249. Online at spartanstoneworks.com.
The Capital City Amphitheater at Cascades Park are proud to present Star Wars, a musical celebration with the Tallahassee Symphony Orchestra. And we want to send you to outer space. Tune in all this week to the Greg Tish Show and watch online to enter your name into the Star Wars Concert Contest. Type I Want to Win on the Facebook Live feed to be entered into the drawing taking place on Wednesday, November 10th. One big winner gets 2 reserved seat tickets plus a $100 gift card for dinner at Table 23. Don't miss Star Wars, a musical celebration, November 12th at the Capital City Amphitheater at Cascades Park. Friday night, November 12th, and may the Force be with you.
Applications, onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
On a Redemption Thursday, we're going to come out the gates swinging, not with picks in that first segment, although you will get picks, but with the head coach. I'm going to join us talk about the exhibition game on Friday, but also his team, a little season preview for you, as we want to do before every year.
Looking forward to it, man. It also would appear that we will have a Warchant.com Vista to take in select games this year. We're going to have the experience. I can't wait to get back to that building. That, if you're listing Florida State sporting events that I miss most during the pandemic, it is the sold out electricity that is the TLC Double C for a big ACC or non-conference game. They don't have too many in the way of non-conference home games that'll get you excited this year, but That ACC slate's going to be awesome. That place is going to be rocking, and I can't wait to party like it's 2019 again with that particular building. It's going to be awesome.
It's one of the best developments over the last 6-7 seasons has been the rise of a basketball program that was for a long time dormant, and an atmosphere at a basketball game that has a real influence and an impact on the game itself. It can happen in college more so than in pros, and it certainly happens here, as you've seen the ACC record, you've looked at the overall record, you've heard opposing coaches, opposing players, also analysts talk about how difficult it is to come into Tallahassee and play at the TLC CCC. And we all benefit greatly from that as fans, as alumni, as supporters of any kind to Florida State basketball. And thank goodness, because it's been a rocky road with the football program. We all know that. And yeah, we've all ended these regular seasons in great anticipation to watch basketball, which, sees kids arrive, improve, elevate, sustain. I mean, this is the sort of path you watch from this team year in and year out. The first half of the season is always infinitely fascinating for a different reason than the second half of the season when the big games arise. And that is because Leonard takes his sweet time figuring out that rotation. He is not afraid to take some time to figure out what works best, what combination of dudes work best. And sometimes while you're watching those early season games,
this feels about as raw of a process in that regard as there's been in 3 or 4 seasons, though, right? I mean, there was usually a holdover that was in his 4th or 5th season, and we have a couple of guys, but they aren't the Terrence Manns of the world. We've got a couple of great-looking young players, but I don't know that you have somebody that you can count on that is a holdover with multiple years of experience in this system that could score you 20 if you have to have it. Maybe it's Polite. Maybe. He had a really good finish the last season, but that would be a huge step up in the non-conference slate of play. And just to show you how close everything is, of course, there's an exhibition on Friday night.
I'll be there.
But the day after Miami, next week, the day after we host Miami, we're on the road playing Florida and Gainesville. It's already here.
Too soon in a weird way. Yeah, the other night, I know that Anthony Polite didn't play. I'm not worried about it, but he was in street clothes, didn't play. And then in terms of the newer guys, and you guys will start getting familiar with the names, but obviously I'm most excited to see the likes of Caleb Mills and Matthew Cleveland. Those are the two players that I think we're all kind of like, ooh.
Mills can shoot it.
Yeah, well, and he's quick. And game in and game out, maybe the fastest guy on the court, quickest guy on the court. So I'll be intrigued by two things, not only the newer players that come in here, but I'm really wanting to see. I know Raekwon Evans against that team lit it up, which whatever in that game, but can he find his shooting stroke again? Because that's going to be very, very important. And then I think we go back and we talk, last year you and I were having this discussion. Malik Osborne's got to find a home again, man. We got to find out, is he going to have to do much more at the 5? Probably so, given our bigs.
That's not the end of the world, though. You play small and athletic. There's some teams you won't match up with. Probably North Carolina is the first one that would come to mind. But outside of that, in this positionless era of basketball, I mean, you're mostly going to be fine there. And even when you play more traditional and you have somebody near the basket, I mean, Raekwon Gray was the reason that Malik didn't play more last year.
Yeah.
He ain't on the roster. So you're going to get plenty of time, plenty of run if you're Malik Osborne.
Well, and he's probably polished his game to a place now where we're going to really be excited to watch him play every night. I like Malik Osborne's game a lot. I like what he is and what he's capable of. On any given night, kind of a Swiss Army knife in a weird way. But I will just say this. Caleb Mills, in again, a nothing game, 5 of 6, 1 of 1 from 3, 3 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals in limited time. And off the bounce, good luck. You can't stay in front of him. So that's important and exciting.
Yeah, I see a comment saying, let's send Coach K away with a loss on January 17th. Just a footnote, that game got moved to Tuesday, January 18th at 9 p.m. because the ESPN is having a wild card broadcast for the NFL playoffs. So that Monday, big Monday, moved to Tuesday.
Hour number 2, fourth coming. Stay with.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour at townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Republicans are cheering after a clean sweep of statewide offices in Virginia on Election Day. Governor-elect Glenn Youngkin says he'll waste no time fulfilling his promise for tax relief.
Friends, we will reduce our cost of living. On day one, we will declare the largest tax refund in the history of Virginia.
Youngkin says he'll revoke the grocery tax and suspend the most recent gasoline tax hike in Virginia. Republicans also won the race for Attorney General, and Republican Winsome Sears becomes the first female lieutenant governor and the first woman of color to hold statewide office of any kind in the state of Virginia. Political analyst Larry Sabato of the University of Virginia Center for Politics says President Biden and the Democrats had better up their game if they want to fend off disaster in 2022.
A lot of things could happen that would help Democrats, but if the landscape looks anything like what we see today, then the Democrats will lose the House, the Democrats will lose the Senate, the Democrats will lose a lot of key governorships, the Democrats will lose a lot of state legislatures, and that's all she wrote.
In arguments before the Supreme Court today, some justices appeared to be concerned about a broad ruling in favor of gun rights, possibly threatening restrictions on firearms in subways, stadiums, and other places where people gather. Chief Justice John Roberts.
What sort of place do you think they could be excluded from? In other words, you can get a permit, but the state can impose certain restrictions. For example, any place in which alcohol is served.
On behalf of those who do oppose New York's restrictive gun permit law, attorney Paul Clement made the argument.
Carrying a firearm outside the home is a fundamental constitutional right. It is not some extraordinary action that requires an extraordinary demonstration of need.
The court is being asked to decide whether the New York law violates the Second Amendment guarantee of the right to keep and bear arms. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 3388 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 3388. Enjoy.
Reaching retirement age can bring up a lot of questions, especially regarding Social Security. In 2021, roughly 65 million Americans will receive a monthly Social Security benefit, totaling over $1 trillion for the year. Do you know how to maximize your Social Security? This is Craig Collins with Collins Income Tax Solutions, and I can help. Contact me today to schedule a free consultation to learn how you can get the most out of your Social Security. Find me online at collinsincometaxsolutionsllc.com. That's collinsincometaxsolutionsllc.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
who have long rooted for the Atlanta Braves. So congratulations to them. But that was quickly supplanted by the news that Chubba Purdy, Florida State's backup to Jordan Travis, in essence, I think had elevated himself to a place where he was the backup to Jordan Travis. I think that stands to reason, given that we haven't seen Mackenzie Milton in some time, and Chubba came in mop-up duty against UMass in a lopsided affair and looked good, as he should have, against an outmanned UMass team. But he has announced that he has hit the transfer portal. And, Florida State, I think the first thing you think of when hearing that news, other than, oh, that's interesting, is what does that mean for Florida State? Well, the first thing you have to think of is that you're down to 3 scholarship quarterbacks. And if anything happens to Jordan Travis, you now have less options to go to, and I think less satisfying options to go to is a better way.
That's a delicate way of saying it. Good for you on the delicate way of saying it.
There you go. I'm trying,
You
Tom.
are.
I'm trying. So that's not ideal. And now what you end up, you go back to something. I said to you, Tom, before fall camp began, we talked about it. The fan base speculated about it as well. I mean, all you had to do was go to the Warchant.com message boards or read Twitter or any place that you get opinions from Florida State fans, which is a number of outlets. And I don't know that anybody suspected Chubba Purdy would be back this fall. I didn't think he would be. I thought he was all but gone. Who the hell goes home and leaves the team while rehabbing? I mean, that was a strange. And now I'm not being critical. I'm just saying that action led me to believe he was all but gone. And I think typically that is the case when you remove yourself from the team. But instead, he, I guess, got to where he needed to be, got right. And as he put it, mentally, and as well as physically, and then came back. And he had a great attitude about it, and he was willing to open up and talk about it, and we certainly all did. We were all there at those, collectively as the media, at those practices. When he was given the opportunity to speak about it, he did, and he seemed to be in a good place. But, that initial reaction is that guy's long gone. Turns out it just took a little longer than we would have suspected. And who knows what the reasons are. But, I mean, I don't know that it was going all that well for him. I've been out at a number of practices. Not all. Irish Fell's been at many more practices than I've been at. But I've been out enough to tell you that it never looked like it was going well for him. Never looked like that was that he was, did not look that he was on the verge of overtaking Jordan Travis to start at quarterback.
Right. And that's where, we were talking about it tongue-in-cheek at the middle part of fall camp when it was Chubba and Tate getting the lion's share of reps because of the unavailability, the deload days for Mackenzie Milton and Jordan Travis, and we got the backups some time with the ones. And there's your chance right there to make a statement. Mm-hmm. And given what Jordan Travis is and is not, if you're a quarterback who has mobility and you
some
have
other elements to your
a
game,
blue chip arm, as the scouting services would say.
Yeah, I don't think he does.
I hear you. I think we could probably say that with more definitive proof at this point, because if you did, you had both of those elements at the level that the services said, you would be making Jordan Travis really work for every snap in live action on Saturdays.
Yeah, he was never a threat to the job.
But exactly, that he wasn't a threat to the job is interesting and telling, given that Jordan Travis is exceptional in some areas, mediocre and worse in many other areas. So that's maybe why he decided it's time, man. If I'm not going to beat this guy out, I got to go play. I want to play. This is what I want to do.
I never begrudge anybody who wants to play. I do think that there is at times, and every situation is different, there are at times knee-jerk reactions born out of frustration. I don't know that this was one of them. This was a case where I don't think was on the cusp of starting anytime soon. I'm not real sure that he would have been a better option than, let's say, whatever AJ Duffy is when he first gets here next year. So, that's where we're at. He'll leave, and that just gives you less depth. I do think it also limits your options to run the style of play you have had to choose to run because of a lack of personnel and kind of overall what you are in pass pro. So, if Jordan were to get hurt, Chubba would have been your best option because he can most closely run the same offense that Jordan Travis runs. But, again, the way I would have thought about it is this way. If Jordan Travis goes down due to injury, for all my criticisms of him, this team is screwed. So that'll let you know.
Except maybe on the road to Boston College, if Chubba came in that particular circumstance.
Maybe. Oh, but it won't be because I thought the offense would hum.
Right.
Because
but it would just not be a disaster.
Right. Yeah. Probably not. Yeah. So the bottom line is that really isn't going to have as big an impact on this team as one might think, as long as, knock on wood, Jordan Travis stays healthy for the foreseeable future. But it is, it would be interesting, and I know Coach is not in a position to where he's going to expound too much about it. They've got game preparation this week for a very important game, a home game that is winnable, but a tough game. Florida State is an underdog this Saturday for a good reason, in my opinion. I think NC State is a more physical, better veteran club that comes in here and presents some real problems for you, in particular, real problems for your defense. I also think Florida State might struggle a little bit to block it up. So this is a game where you're going to have to overcome some things. You're sure as hell going to have to play a lot better on special teams than we've seen in the last number of weeks. But I say all that to say this. Coach Norvell is not going to expound too much on that in season, and he's not going to talk at length about what went into that decision or the conversations that they had. That's a different situation. Maybe in the offseason you'll hear something along those lines, but not right now. And I'd be very curious to know the mindset of that staff as to the quarterback group and what they think is their best option moving forward. I know, obviously, they hope to continue to have the firm commitment of A.J. Duffy. That's for starters. You're trying to elevate the overall talent in the room. And then I wonder, what I would wonder about is, are they interested in any particular quarterback that may be out there? Tom and I speculated last hour because that's what you can do now as a fan of college football. You can look around at situations all over the country in which there is a quarterback who is disgruntled or has not had the kind of season they were hoping to have, and begin to speculate whether or not they might be interested in coming to play for you. And we've seen it at a number of schools so far. De'Ara King in state did that, obviously, there with Miami. That kind of worked out for a while. Didn't go over nearly as well as they were hoping it could, but maybe some of that had to do with injury. And
as it turns out, maybe he's holding back the next guy, with Van Dyke.
Yeah. So, we have seen other places where it's worked, but who knows? I wonder, is there somebody that they would have their eye on? And you always wonder in this day and age, whether it would be on the up and up or not, if there are conversations being had by the right people, in particular with certain people who represent other people. that'd be quarterbacks, like as we were speculating before. Is there something along the lines happening there to elevate competition in the room and give yourself the best chance to win games? You're always looking to see, does a guy who comes in here, is he going to upset the apple cart? Does it affect us in recruiting down the line? Is it somebody that could have an immediate impact for the better on our team for next season? So, for example, when you reached out to Jermaine Johnson, you had a desperate need at the position for somebody who could get after the quarterback. Did it help your team immediately? Yes, resoundingly so. Turned out that not only did it help your team physically on the field with him making plays and getting after the quarterback and playing the run well, it also helped you in the locker room. It helped you as a defense to be able to do things you haven't done well in 3 years. So that's a home run. That is 100%. That is a nailed it. Is there anybody like that at quarterback that you could maybe reach out to who's an unquestionably good leader, prepared to step in and play right away, elevates the room? I don't know. That's an ideal situation, but you're always mining for those kinds of guys. And in particular at a position at quarterback where, you'd like that player to be the best player on your team. You like that player to be the best leader on the team. You like that guy to be the hardest working player on the team because he touches the ball in every play. So it's important. If there's somebody out there that is maybe going to meet that description, then yes, by all means, I would bring that person in. Don't know it. Don't know who that would be, but who knows? I say all that because if you're having a larger conversation with a backup quarterback about his future, and he asks you, quite honestly, what do you see from me? What do you think I am going into next year? And the answer is competing with Jordan Travis and or a transfer and a freshman quarterback in the form of A.J. Duffy, and he doesn't like that answer and wants to ride, then peace out, baby.
All right, so let's play the chess game a few moves ahead. Let's say that, for argument's sake, we don't have any inside knowledge on this right now, but let's say for argument's sake that they wanted to hit the transfer portal for another quarterback in addition to A.J. Duffy, and it's not signed to in the recruiting class. If that's the case, your quarterback room could very likely next year look like the transfer, A.J. Duffy, Tate, and I don't know if Gino
Jordan
has...
Travis.
Well, no, that's where I'm going.
Oh, so I'm sorry. What you said?
If you bring in a transfer,
and
who's to say that Jordan's going to stick around past spring? If you're Jordan, you're like, well, okay, great. Now, I'm not saying I agree with Jordan, and I don't want to rile you up about that. I'm not trying to play that game right now. But all I'm saying is, if you do go grab a veteran that you believe day one could compete at the very least, if not outright start, and pave the way for A.J. Duffy, then what's Jordan doing here? So your quarterback room could be completely different by the time we get to the end of spring camp, if not sooner.
Yeah.
That's the risk that you run, and I know what you would say to that risk. You'd say take it.
Yeah.
But that's the risk that you would run if you go into the transfer market for an established quarterback. If they do that, don't expect Jordan Travis to be around much longer either, because he will see the same things that Chubba Purdy saw. You brought in another dude after McKenzie. All right. Message is clear. A.J. Duffy's coming in. You like him? Message is clear. Maybe you get spring camp. Maybe you don't.
Well, every kid that is on a team at any position has to come in with the understanding that they will be recruited over. It is their job to hold down the job. It is their job to make it impossible to select anybody else to be the starter. So I certainly would never worry about bringing in a recruit to compete with an existing starter, because it's your job. So you have to do that. Got a starting left tackle who's a sophomore, and I bring in a freshman 5-star left tackle. He's going to compete in practice. If you're any good, you'll beat him out, because you've had a year head start in the system, another year in the weight room, a year with the nutrition program, and you should win out. And if you don't, suck it, sit. That's the way it works. But that's competition in football. So I wouldn't worry about all that. As far as the transfer portal goes, yes, that's a different discussion.
Yeah. Because it sends a clear signal that you've been usurped before the battle even begins.
They sent that message to Jordan this offseason. Yep. They did when they brought in Mackenzie Milton. And good for Jordan Travis for being tough and winning the job on his own, and pulling up his bootstraps and saying, let's get it on. I'll win the battle. He did. Now, it helped certainly that McKenzie, was damaged goods and couldn't really ever kind of step into those throws, and obviously the residual impact of that injury was too much to overcome.
For the full context, though, going back to ACC kickoff, Jordan handled it brilliantly. There was almost
I think he's a good kid.
Yeah, there was almost a subordination. You know what I mean? Where he's like, Mackenzie's the star of the show here this week in Charlotte. And I don't think it was him playing coy, like, wait till they see me in camp. The way he was talking about Mackenzie Milton when they were both there in Charlotte, I was there. Everybody, the whole tenor of everything was, so he just
deferred.
Did McKenzie like in player run practices? Is McKenzie that much better? Because it seems like this competition's over.
I said to you at that time, I had you on the show at the old place and from Charlotte, where you were there covering the team for the ACC for the ACC kickoff. And I said, when I read those quotes, man, he sounds like a guy who has accepted his fate. And that seemed unsettling to me. I was bothered by how willing he was to concede the position. Turns out it wasn't. So,
but if you're talking about maturity level to be able to handle that type of thing, yeah, he's got it. The question is, if you do that twice, is it fair at that point if you're the player to say, well, I mean, guys, okay.
It's fair, or you could just say, look, man, I still think I'm going to win the job. Competition's part of that. I like it here. I get it. You're not in love with me and what I bring to the table, but I also think I'm your best option. And I don't know, he could stick it out. I like Jordan Travis. I think he's a kid who is willing to accept competition, and I admire that. I think that's pretty much should be the standard. But I appreciate that about him. But I would not be afraid to recruit over him, and that includes bringing in a transfer portal or anything else. So you got to recruit over the roster.
And I'm not trying to put you in a position where you got to kill Jordan Travis here, right? In order for the betterment of the program. You're like, I don't care that you love him. Because I agree, ultimately. Yeah. If you can go get a proven transfer, you go get him yesterday.
If Max Johnson wants to come here, Tom, I'm accepting.
Of course he is. Yes, I believe we've established that point. My point is that if now you are pushed further into forcing your hand to go to the transfer portal and not bring in 2 high school recruits, let's say, this is only the beginning for the shift in the quarterback room. That would be my point.
Yeah, it would be. I wonder, and I think that there's a chance, Tom, given where we're at in the rebuild, and that's what this is. If you understand that you're not on the cusp of competing for a championship anytime soon and that you're still in the process of elevating the talent, raising the floor of this roster, and that it's incumbent upon you to get some wins, so you've got some tough decisions to make, whether that be player personnel, for lack of a better term, and or your coaching staff, okay? If you don't just ride this out for one more year with Jordan and say he's got the most amount of experience within our offense, I'm going to add to what he does.
Right.
So we're going to add.
We now know what he can do. We've got a full year to play in for
and we're
him.
going to add to this. And yes, we're limited, but we're going to play to his skill set, and we're just going to accept the good with the bad, and then we develop and go from here. If you just go ahead and accept that, maybe.
Now that's interesting because you would really have to almost have two levels of development going on.
Yes.
That are quite separate one another. And so the question I would ask is, do you have enough depth where your frontline guys can run the Jordan offense, and then your young guys can run the AJ offense, and then there's almost like a wholesale replacement.
In practice, you've got something going there now. We're building towards something. Yes.
If the answer is no, then you almost want to bring in somebody who's going to run the AJ offense sooner, because you don't want your frontline guys who are going to be working with AJ to have to learn a whole new offense. Because truthfully, that's what we're doing right now. I mean, you think about week-to-week preparation. This is where they really got hurt in the first month of the season, where you're trying to play the hot hand with McKenzie and Jordan.
Well,
they couldn't run more opposite things.
No, and they were hoping against hope, as it turns out, that McKenzie could fight through. And I don't mean fight through as in he wasn't tough enough. He tried. It just didn't work. His body let him down. But they were hoping that he'd be able to, through rest days and time off and all that, he'd be able to overcome the physical maladies that he was suffering through. And the reason they were is because it would give you a drop back pass game, which they simply do not have with Jordan Travis. And it didn't work out. It didn't work out. Now, that's fine. I mean, eventually they did find their answer, and they now run what we run. And, you just got to do the best you can with that.
Yeah. I see a conversation going on right now in the chat, and it's interesting because it's relative to what you're saying. If you had known that this is the McKenzie that you were going to get in terms of capability of playing, not so much. Would you have still made the move, or would you have just said, you know what, let's just circle the wagons around Jordan all off season, see what we can do? Hindsight's always going to make it easier, but
so if you told me I knew that Mackenzie Milton could not come in and win the job and would be not even close to what he once was, would I still have done it?
Would the benefit of him in the quarterback room been enough that you? Okay,
no.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, God, no. Chef Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
For about 50 years, Paul's Termite and Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses for thousands of people right here in the Big Bend. And we're quite proud of that. Fact is, all of us here at Paul's have families, and nothing is more important to us than their protection. By providing effective termite and pest treatments, we know we're aiding many right here in our community.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control performs many services designed for the protection of your family and your home. Programs like Pro Shield Complete, which encompasses termite and general pest control in one low-cost quarterly treatment plan. This program is environmentally friendly and is almost exclusively limited to exterior treatments, meaning pests and termites never enter your home. Termite programs like Centricon, a service which requires no invasive drilling or liquid applications. Plus, our lawn care team keeps lawns and ornamentals green and healthy.
Protection of your family, your home, and our environment all are very important to each of us at Paul's. To learn more about our many programs, please visit us at callpauls.com.
For the elimination of termites or any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Hey Tallahassee, this is Sarah with Seminole Auto Glass. There's so much more to auto glass than most people know. With the technology these days, lane departure, keep assist, forward collision, that camera is attached to your windshield. When the windshield gets replaced, it needs to be reset, and that's called recalibration. And Seminole Auto Glass was the first to offer it here. We offer drop-off service or mobile service if available.
Don't forget about customer service.
Oh yeah, we have the best customer service in town. And a $50 gift card with your windshield through insurance. We're more than just a glass company. We are your local auto glass experts. Better call Seminole.
Have you ever finished a painting project at your home or business and thought to yourself, wow, that was fun. I really like how sore my arms and hands are. And those sloppy edges and corners, I'll get used to it. Not a chance. So before you get all your brushes and rollers and buckets and blankets, contact B&B Painting of Tallahassee. Interior painting, exterior, commercial, whatever you need painted, B&B Painting of Tallahassee is your first choice. Get a fast, friendly, and free quote today with a quick visit to bnbpaintingtallahassee.com. That's B&B Painting Tallahassee.com.
if you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other. Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
You went online to switch your car insurance to Progressive so you could save money. But then you saw a friend request from an old summer camp buddy. And now here you are, clicking through photos of his kickball team from 2011. Oh, looks like they won the championship that year. Then he moved to Tulsa. Oh, a new tattoo. Yes, they said it was easy to save hundreds on car insurance with Progressive, but they forgot about the rest of the internet. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National average savings by new customer surveyed who saved in 2019.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Legend Show brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
To note here is that this is a little less about, I think, a little less about criticizing Jordan Travis. I have been critical of Jordan Travis's overall quarterback play, but I've also praised him certainly for some of the things that he does exceptionally well and that he's uniquely gifted to do. And I've also understood it's the byproduct of a situation that is not ideal. And that he's had a great attitude. He's a hard worker, smart kid, hardworking kid, well-liked kid. So it's never going to be personal with him. But to me, this is less about like, okay, well, Jordan Travis isn't this thing. We need to find somebody who can be that thing. And if we just had that thing, we'd be better. No, Florida State's a ways away. I do think you have to improve the quarterback room in the same way that I think what we have at linebacker right now is not good enough. In the same way that I think we're lacking at depth on the offensive line. In the same way that I think our receivers are nowhere near the caliber of receivers that Florida State should have when operating at peak efficiency. Understanding that it can't be a snap your fingers, make it all better overnight situation, then you have a longer, more nuanced dialogue about what is possible and what's the best way to go about it. None of it is tinged with vitriol. It is frustrating to be in the position we're in. It is aggravating to have to wait on the kind of success that we all want. But I am patient and do understand it takes time. And so, Jordan will give us what he gives us, and they have to figure out a way to elevate competition in the quarterback room. They have to figure out a way, whether that is through 2 quarterback recruits that are coming from the high school ranks, as they initially did before one decided to bow out of the competition and go to, in his mind, greener pastures. Or is it a high school recruit that you develop and he starts in a couple of years, unless he comes in and he's just phenomenal and wows you in the interim while bringing in a transfer portal product, and the competition is intense, and maybe you run the risk if you do that of Jordan Travis leaving, like you suggested. Maybe he would. I don't know. You have to sit down. They have to sit down as a coaching staff and figure out the best approach. But that room has to get better. That's all we're saying. That room has to get better. It's not where it should be. But I want to make it clear that if, in fact, you had somebody who was a more capable quarterback in the passing game, I don't think Florida State would magically be, a 9-win team this year. They have problems at receiver. They have problems at the offensive line, especially with the injuries that they've incurred this year. If that had played out the same way, that would be a problem for no matter who's quarterback. They have problems at linebacker. They've been wildly inconsistent in the secondary. They've gotten better from the first half to the second half of the season. They were terrible in the first half of the season. None of that would have changed. So it's just a larger discussion about how far Florida State has to go. And in some ways, we echoed that on Monday when we talked about that game was a sobering reminder that if you face anybody who's any good on defense at all and has the athletes coordinated as they would be with Brent Venables to shut down Travis's great strength, well, then you're screwed. And that's all that was, just a sobering reminder that that's where you're at.
Well, and now if you are indeed shopping in the transfer portal and you're not going to the, class of 2022 looking for a second quarterback, that would also mean that you're looking for a certain type of player. You got to have a mobile guy. Now, Mike has often said that it doesn't matter what type of quarterback runs the system, and it bears out. You've seen more statuesque players in his time at Memphis have success, and then, obviously he's found a way to have limited success, but offensive explosiveness with Jordan Travis. So there's a scope and a spectrum that he can operate with. But given what looks like it's coming back next year, you've got to have a mobile guy. So if you're looking in that transfer portal and you see somebody who's a statue that's available, he ain't for us. Unless we're bringing in 2 or 3 offensive linemen that we don't know about yet.
The offensive line will be better next year, provided they're healthy. They'll be deeper next year, both because of recruits, and they do have the opportunity, I think, to bring in a transfer portal a player. I would. I most certainly would, by the way. A plug-and-play guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, now. Yes.
All-American.
Yeah. Well,
I'm bringing an All-American. Sure. That's what I do.
Well, they tried.
They did.
They did try.
Well, and that offensive line was still a mess at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Kane Madden.
Yeah. So, and he hasn't played well for them. Now, but he probably would be our best player on the offensive line.
We could have had him and Dylan Gibbons.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. Would have been nice. Anyhow, that's yeah, I guess you're right.
You're feeling that straitjacket of the long-term rebuild.
No, but you have to find ways to get better incrementally. You've got to continue to climb. You got to keep getting better. I do feel that, and I felt that all year long. But you've got to continue to get better. Now, my biggest fear that if we're just talking about where Florida State's headed and what's going to happen and how long it's going to take and how quickly can we expedite the process, my biggest fear is that we'll take a step forward on offense next year for a variety of reasons. Another year with this offensive line getting bigger and stronger and eating properly and doing all that stuff and being in the system and Atkins working with them and all that. All right. So they'll get better. You're pretty good at running back. You at least have Trayshawn Ward. We think Toafili will get there. He's got to put on weight, but he's
Corbin might be gone.
Yeah. But you're pretty good at running back. You got to find a way to get a lot better at tight end. Jesus. But wide receivers have been a issue too, but they'll be better too. Just a year in the system. All right. But you know what's going to take a step back, in my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong because they do hit on some kids, but they're going to take a step back on defense. And that defense is not great to begin with. Because I think you're going to lose Fabian Lovett. You're going to lose Keir Thomas. You're going to lose Jermaine Johnson. Damn, man. If I just stop there, we got problems.
Yeah. What if Coop says he's done enough too?
Yes. Yeah. So,
yeah, that's where maybe the cash would be for the defensive line. You know what? If you have to spend a certain amount of cash on the defensive line versus a quarterback, at least you know what you have. You could build an offense around Jordan if you need to spread that love to the front four.
Well, and I want to point this out though.
Who's Georgia's third team? Let's go get him.
Well, that's fair. I will say there's a chance that Malcolm Ray continues to grow. He's getting better.
Yeah, he's played well.
There's a chance. Now, obviously, I love Dennis Briggs before that cheap shot artist at Louisville screwed us.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully he comes back.
Yes, if he comes
full
back.
speed, I mean.
Yes. Maybe something like Quayshawn Fuller, who provided
flash. Hey, I was happy to see that. There we go.
Too.
There were some flashes in camp.
Maybe you get a little something from Quayshawn Fuller. Okay. but you still have to do a lot more there.
Yeah. Jermaine Johnson's a different level that we're trying to get to here.
Yeah. Oh, buddy. But obviously, it hasn't worked out for, if you go to linebacker, Lundy is limited. Deloach is limited. They're your best options currently. Steven Dix can't play. Cortez Andrews is what he is. I mean, you just don't have – I mean, Jaleel McCray didn't work out, Tom.
Right, yeah.
I think we can safely say. Mm-hmm. So –
yeah, you need Jermaine Johnson to not spend time prepping for the draft. He needs to pound the pavement, so to speak. He needs to go in the recruiting circles on these trips with Mike Norvell and extol the virtues of this program to every college across this country. I mean, he needs to have a stump speech ready to go at quads everywhere in the Southeast about the greatness that you can find at Florida State. He needs to be our biggest recruiter.
Man, oh man. Well, it's one thing to worry about what has to happen in the offseason, and then there is, which is sobering. But when you're in a rebuild, everything is sobering because there are so many glaring mistakes and errors and things to overcome and or talent deficiencies that it's just omnipresent. You know, oh, they had that read right. He's just not fast enough. Oh, that play is there. He just can't see it. You know, you
that's what this weekend was.
Well, you do that all the time. Yeah. You do it every Saturday. And some teams, if you make those mistakes, beat you 10 out of 10 times. Others, because they're lacking two in this godforsaken sorry conference, aren't able to take advantage of those deficiencies, and you find ways to win games. And, you know, we're very fortunate that this conference right now is not very good. And so there are only a couple of teams that I think 100% of the time can take advantage of those weaknesses in personnel. Clemson is one of them, and we still almost won the game. You know, with a outside of the big play, it really didn't do much. You certainly didn't do anything in the second half on offense. You did nothing in the second half. All your offense came in the first half. That was it. Thanks for playing.
We had a bolt-action rifle, and they had fortification, the likes of which the Germans would be proud of.
So it's, you know, when that happens. But before you sit there completely bereft of hope, watching, as I said, a Quayshawn Fuller make a play, a Malcolm Ray play well, knowing that Dennis Briggs, if he can get back healthy after the injury, is a good player. Seeing a player like Damore Tate make a play, right?
Or Marion Cooper.
Yeah, Marion Cooper. Yeah. How big a play was that, right? I mean, So you saw some guys.
Are you going to get some help in that secondary?
Yeah. Well, and also they've settled in on some guys, so okay. I mean, I think Kevin Knowles is a really good player.
Yeah, he's got growing pains, but he's playing.
He's
well.
a good player,
he's got
man. That's a
freshman.
Jamie Robinsons and players like that. You've got some guys there, so you're gonna get better. I don't want to paint a picture so bleak that people are like, well, why do we watch the games? This is
we don't want that at Warchant.com.
But I don't even mean it that way. I don't even mean it from a business sort of standpoint. I'm just mean it as from a fan standpoint. You have things, you just have to be willing. Now, if there is gross incompetence, you have to call it out. Like our special teams is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. Whomever's responsible for that, and I know you're going to say Papuch, it's fine, but ultimately the head coach is responsible for finding an answer.
It's on Mike, too.
That's what I mean.
He's got that tattooed on his bicep.
Right.
Special teams.
Not literally everybody. But, yeah, man, wouldn't that be something?
Needs to do some more curls, I guess.
But, that is unacceptable. It's fair to say that there's a disconnect there. Namely, why won't any of you guys catch the ball?
Anywhere but the 5-yard line.
Yeah.
In the 5-yard, we got you covered.
You'll go out of your way to catch the ball inside the 10. Diving efforts on the 3 to make a catch on a punt. But sweet Jesus, God forbid you're there at the 30 with an opportunity to get us something near midfield. No chance you're catching that. That ball's hopping and rolling and taking its sweet time down to the 5 while we sit there and lament our existence.
And it's never rolling back. It's rolling forward.
No, it's always got a forward lean, baby. It is always like, look at that. It's going to keep going. Look at that top spin. It's like when you miss hit your tee shot, but you catch it with a little top spin.
That's right.
That's okay. That's going to roll for days, Tommy.
It's moving forward at a level. It's moving forward at a level that makes Dan Mullen uncomfortable. He finds the football a little too progressive.
Oh, man. I swear that guy is trying to get fired.
I think so.
I think he is.
Yeah.
I think Dan Mullen is trying to get fired. He's done. He hates it. He doesn't like college football. He doesn't like kids that they can just transfer whenever they want. He thinks this whole thing sucks. He doesn't like to recruit. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Yeah, that Spider-Man thing with 2017 Jimbo and current Dan Mullen is fantastic.
It is the best. It's perfect.
You stop recruiting?
Me too. Oh, it's Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Florida High School Athletic Association announced Tuesday high school football championship games are returning to the capital city. Championship games for classes 1A through 3A will return to Gene Cox Stadium from December 9th to December 11th. Those championship games will also be held at Gene Cox Stadium in 2022. The games will be held at 7 p.m. each night with specific classifications to be determined later. Tickets will cost $12 if purchased in advance and $15 if bought on game day. The Class 4A through 8A games will be played from December 16th through December 18th in Fort Lauderdale. Thomasville police say 2 people were injured in a shooting near the area of North Stephen Street and Crystal Street Monday. The victims' conditions are unknown at this time. In a post on Facebook, officers say they are still investigating the incident but have identified everyone involved and there's no immediate threat to the community. Police are not releasing any other details at this time. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by McKenzie Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McKenzie.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. High of 75 this afternoon under mainly clear skies, northeast winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows around 56 tonight, mainly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, highs level off around 71. Turning cooler Friday and Saturday with highs from the upper 50s to the low 60s. Scattered showers both days. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 75.
What do you need tires on? Your car or truck, tractor or heavy equipment? At Nice Tire and Auto Service, we have tires for all of these needs. And we service your vehicle from air conditioning and computerized alignment to oil changes and everything else under the hood. Call Nice Tire and Auto today at 574-4100. That's 574-4100 for your scheduled maintenance. National accounts welcome at Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
It's Congressman Michael Waltz on the Greg Tish Show.
Good morning, Congressman. How are you doing?
Hey, doing well.
Again, just what you have to go through day in and day out. I don't know how you have hair left, or like Matty Rowe, just completely bald.
Hey!
Sorry.
And the irony of it all, the progressives are the tail wagging the dog. This whole bipartisan White House is a joke. We're just watching them eat their own.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Those free agents in the world of college football. But, are we in a place to do so successfully compared to what other universities have shown themselves to be, not because of the product on the field, but rather because of NIL? And do we have people with the connections and coffers that are willing to do the right thing and help out in luring that player that expedites the process?
No, that's what NIL is all about. Some might say it's for athletes to make money off of their name, image, and likeness, as would be described in the letters NIL. I say it means that it's open season for big-time boosters to make things happen.
Of course it is.
And we're only seeing what it's going to look like this offseason for the first time.
The biggest problem we have is we haven't shown any sign that we can compete at a high level in that regard. I mean, Porsche dealerships and the like aren't happening here.
No.
as we've seen in other places, quite literally happening in other places.
Crowdfunding, all that kind of stuff. You know, I would hope we'd have those things organized within the structure of the boosters, but we'll see. For more than just, you know, brick and mortar stuff for a program.
You got to make sure there are a few guys that if you only have enough for a few, let's make sure that a certain former linebackers kid is well taken care of.
Right.
Let's make sure that Travis Hunter doesn't feel more wanted elsewhere than here.
Right. What I would say to big-time boosters who have, let's say, skyboxes at Doak and executive suites at the Tucker Center, I'd say to them, listen, you have a certain level of contribution every year to the boosters, and we know that, and we expect, for the most part, those things to be there. But if you can show us receipts of, you know, maybe an endorsement deal for a player in lieu of your contributions to the boosters,
you're good to go.
Your skybox is secure.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
We don't have any worries about
you have your place.
We will divert those funds where necessary.
No problem. It's almost like a reimbursement form. You
Yeah.
just show that, we're good to go.
Well, listen, that's just another form, frankly, of getting creative. It is just another creative way of ensuring those loyal to the cause can do what they need to do to make sure that we're taken care of.
And if that feels icky, it shouldn't, because now it's okay. It's okay to say those things.
A lot of you have noted that AJ Duffy is no longer at IMG. Do I know anything more? It does appear, Michael Langston did post on Warchant.com that there's only 2 games left or something thereabouts in the season. So I don't know. I don't know if that's he's just not happy there, or I don't know what that is.
Seems odd. There's a couple games left. You know, you can still play. Maybe he thinks, in a month, I'm signing with Florida State. What the hell? I'm not going to risk getting injured. Look at this. Chubba Purdy's gone. I'm going to take the job right away.
That's certainly one way to view it. Yeah, I don't know. We'll continue to follow it. There's been no clarification as to why he is no longer at IMG or no longer on the roster, or whatever that might be.
Don't be stupid, AJ. Hopefully you didn't do anything stupid, and this is just a legitimate reason.
I'm not going to assume
you're picking out your apartment. That's what you're doing.
I have no idea. But and I'm not even going to begin to speculate on that. If we knew something, we'd tell you. That's all I'm saying. I'm not avoiding talking about
what is going on with these quarterbacks.
Petulant children can't handle waiting.
I need my Duffy update now. Just after you say that.
It's going to happen. I've spoken into being. Max Johnson, come on down, baby. Come on down. Max, let's go. Me and your dad go way back. I'll play ping pong late into the night with him.
You should just send Brad selfies of you around campus every day with no context.
Still beautiful here, Brad. Still beautiful, just like when you were here. It's even prettier now. Look at this. They've developed this. They've built this. Yeah.
Look at all the trick shots you could perform on these basketball courts.
The funny thing is, if I texted Brad right now about Max, he probably wouldn't get back to me. If I texted Brad right now about some sort of threatening, I'll beat your ass in ping pong, I'd get a text back inside of 30 seconds.
Yeah, the phone would start ringing.
Yeah. We'll come. Let's get it on.
Where?
Let's go.
Click.
Yeah.
Text me. Where?
Yeah. It would happen. What are you going to do?
You got to find a ringer in table tennis to
and
play Brad.
And tell him for his son's services at Florida State as a quarterback. Yeah. Here's the deal. Come to Tally. Take your whooping like a man, Brad.
Either that.
You got a guy that'll take the belt, and your son comes and starts for us next year.
Or we find out what it takes in a certain dealership around town to land an endorsement of a quarterback, either for Miami or Florida, to switch sides before the game. While they're going through warm-ups, you hear, especially if it was here in Tallahassee, so you hear the PA announcer say that starting for Florida State today is Van Dyke. And people go, what?
What? Yeah.
Is our PA guy on drugs? And the next thing you see, you look at the 50-yard line, and Van Dyke is taking off the Miami jersey. And Mike Norvell walks out a garnet jersey to Van Dyke.
Becomes a WWE event.
Immediately eligible. Here we go.
So this is going to make you laugh. I'm just going to read something from you. The headline of the story is how Jorge Soler's World Series home run ball ended up at an apartment party outside the stadium. What a great headline.
That's awesome.
When Manuel Ramos' brother invited him over to his perfectly located abode at the 500 Crawford downtown apartments, he thought he was just going to drink some beers and crane his neck in order to watch some baseball from the apartment's 5th floor balcony. Instead, he walked away with a piece of baseball history. Ramos, his brother Richard, and a large group of friends were having a World Series Game 6 watch party on Tuesday night, just a block outside Minute Maid Park, Crawford Boxes, when they heard a groan inside the ballpark and then saw a flying white object coming right at them. It bounced off an awning outside the stadium, and 446 feet was the shot that Jorge Soler hit, giving the Braves a 3-0 lead at the time. The ball made a loud bang when it hit about 20 feet into the green awning that protects fans from elements as they enter the ballpark. Then it rolled off the end of it, lying on the sidewalk, just sitting there, a piece of World Series memorabilia, at which point those young men raced down from the apartment to grab said ball. That is pretty awesome.
They didn't give it away for $50 in a signed jersey like the dude who got Brady's touchdown.
Yeah.
I would have run out of the stadium immediately.
Well, he ended up getting a lot more than that, though.
I know he did. He did.
Yeah.
Season tickets for a couple of years.
But not just that. I think he also got some Bitcoin thing or whatever it was. I mean, he got a bunch of stuff.
That's right. He got one full Bitcoin.
Well, See, he did all right.
That's not bad.
He did okay.
Could have done better if he run out of the stadium immediately with that football.
I just think it's awesome that if you find that story, they'll give you a shot from the balcony. They show you where they were standing when they saw the ball leaving the stadium. It was that far. It's a good distance from the stadium. You have to cross the street. Jorge Soler, have mercy. The man has a family.
Well, what's interesting is
whoa.
You got to admire the Braves for trying to lay the hammer down like that, and no pun intended for late Hank Aaron. But Freddie Freeman's home run in the previous game was gargantuan.
Yes.
I mean, my God, these Braves aren't just hitting Rafael Palmeiro first road jobbers.
No, those were bombs. The Soler home run, when he hit it, I started laughing. He swung so violently.
Yeah.
I was like, whoo.
You see the expression on that lady's face in the crowd, too?
Yeah.
She's like, oh.
She gave the look like, oh.
And then they cut to Dusty. He's like chucking a toothpick.
Oh, he's like, well, that's assault. That man just assaulted my pitcher with that shot. Yeah, Soler hit some bombs this postseason and rightfully won the MVP, but my goodness gracious.
I'll see if we can get that lady for maybe tomorrow's Redemption Thursday.
Oh,
I think she might be a reactionary to, maybe some picks. Like, what?
I got to delve deep. Hey, I don't know if you did it, but I did. And, man, happy day of the world we live in, Tom. I pick up this phone right here.
Oh.
I click this button right there, and I go, doop, doop. That's a bet. Doop, doop. That's another bet. Just saying, in due time, our friends at the Hard Rock Sportsbook are going to do the right thing.
Wait till they sponsor us.
Woo!
You think he talked about gambling before?
$1 million a year. That's all it's going to take. That's all it's going to take, guys.
That's
Come
your
on.
handle.
We got you covered. That's all it's going to take. Come back, wrap it up momentarily. Hang in. Our partners at ISF know you want to do amazing things. You have big ideas and goals for the future. For over 40 years, ISF has focused on solving the future for state government through strategy, process, and technology. As a national management and IT consulting firm, ISF has the expertise to transform strategies, refine processes, and implement solutions to lead you in today's changing environment. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Wooden Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Wooden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Wooden Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at woodenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
Let me tell you what T-Spark stands for. It stands for strength, commitment, teamwork, and heart. We don't ever quit until we've got nothing left to give. Our team is unstoppable. Want a guaranteed win? Call T-Spark Enterprises for your next roofing or construction project. We conquer all peaks. T-SparkConstruction.com. License number CCC 1331204.
Hi, Chris Kraft for the Kraft Brothers dealerships. At Kraft Nissan, we've been amazed at the number of Toyota and Honda people trading up to Nissan's new family of SUVs. The changes are stunning. And don't just take my word for it. Motor Trend tagged Rogue as the 2021 SUV of the Year finalist, adding that Rogue can go toe-to-toe with Honda and Toyota. Well, guess what, Tallahassee? We can't keep the new Rogues on the showroom floor. Seriously, if you haven't seen one for yourself, come take a test drive and you'll see the new Rogue sells itself. In the 2022 Nissan Pathfinder, it's roomier, quicker, and better equipped. Plus, the second row seats easily slide and flip forward to allow access to the third row, even with a child seat installed. And finally, Car and Driver says savvy shoppers will be surprised by the new Armada's luxuriousness. So I encourage SUV lovers to come see the new Nissan family of SUVs. Everyone knows that Nissan SUVs have more standard equipment than the competition. The award-winning Rogue, Pathfinder, and Armada, only at Kraft Nissan, Mahan Drive, Tallahassee.
Live and living color and totally free. Subscribe to Warchant TV on YouTube, the digital home of Warchant.com. From the practice field to pregame and the phone calls afterwards, Warchant's YouTube channel is home to live programming like Seminole Headlines, Wake Up Warchant, The Jeff Cameron Show, as well as Trench Talk, a live Q&A with Noles offensive lineman Devontae Love-Taylor. Just search Warchant on YouTube and click or tap the subscribe button. That's it. It's totally free. Warchant TV on YouTube. Just another reason we're the ultimate Seminole sports source.
Jeff Cameron Show brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
They believe in doing things the right way and a safe way. Employees undergo routine safety training and are constantly being educated on new techniques and new materials, like becoming master metal applicators, which I think is cool. Is that like master metal applicators? Could you be Slayer?
Oh, easily.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
It's a multi-purpose term.
Have you considered a new metal roof before? Have you? Huh? Long-lasting and durable. You're in luck because T-Spark Enterprises Roofing and Construction are the best in town, period. Call them today, 766-1340. Or get a free quote today at tsparkconstruction.com. Have you considered a metal roof?
I've not. Thankfully, when I moved into my home last year, which it's now been a full year, they said that I've got another 7 to 10 years. So good job by the previous owners. But when it's time to make that consideration, I'm only calling one person. It's Travis, man. T-Spark.
Speaking of friends of the program and those who do business with us and warrant your business as well, let's take a look at our friends over at North Florida Payroll Services, locally owned for nearly 15 years, offering payroll and HR services, including full online applicant and onboarding and integration into payroll. You can speak, Jeff. Save your company money and headaches today. Head to northfloridapayroll.com. So no probables because the Braves are your reigning World Series champions until next year when the season gets started. Well, they'll still be until somebody either vanquishes them or takes home the title on their own. We'll see. I think that Braves team is young and good and going to be around for a while. So Braves fans have a lot to be excited about. Their best player didn't play.
That's right. And I would think that the King's ransom for Freddie Freeman is now going to be paid.
Yeah.
You kind of have to.
Kind of have to pay that. He asked, you know what? I'm happy for him. Good guy, one of the good guys at the game, and showed up big in the postseason.
How about Joe Buck trolling the Braves fans last night, too? What could be his final at bat as a Bravey? It's like, Joe.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I like trolling the Braves, too, man. But, you know, in that moment,
they're going to pay the man.
Leave that be.
They're going to pay the man. You want to know the odds, though, for next year? Dodgers are your odds-on favorite. If you want to just take a team right now to win the 2022 World Series, you're going to get plus, obviously, no matter who you pick, because to take one team the day after a World Series champion is kind of insane. But you could get on the Dodgers right now at plus 550. The next closest to that, or the next best, I mean, in terms of the odds on favorite to win, are those Astros at plus 700. Now, where is the great value? It's not in those two teams. I think you get great value out of the Rays at plus 1,600. I think there's great value in the Braves at plus 1,200 right now. That's good value as well. Because, again, they get Acuna back, and that team is loaded.
It's a good system that they have.
And a great GM.
Bastards.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody on the outskirts there looking in that you think maybe better have a chance to make a big run? I think we probably went down as far on that list as I want to go. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Redemption Thursday. Coach Hamilton.